I'm Shelley. Welcome back to my channel. This video I'm going to talk about the books I read and listened to in the month of August. It's this stack right here. I could turn them around. Yes, that might be a better way to show you. Let's see. I have these here. One book I did finish September 2nd, but I'm going to include it. I did start it in August, so I'm going to include it in this August wrap-up. I read 7 books. 6 were physical, and 1 was an ebook, an e-arc I had. And the five of the physical books I also listened to in tandem on audiobook. So I think first, and I'll also talk about in this video some book adaptations I watched in August or finished watching in August. I'll talk about those as well. I think I'll start off with the ebook that I read, and that was 5 Found Dead by Sulari Gentle. And she is the author of The Woman in the Library, which I really enjoyed. And 5 Found Dead is, I guess, sort of a modern day, I don't know if you call it retelling, because it does take place on the actual Orient Express. And they do talk about Agatha Christie and Hercule Poirot and how there was, in the book, the murder, and why people like to take the Orient Express because of that. And this book, it's sister and brother. And I can probably read the see, one second now. I'll read out the description more or less. I did review this on NetGalley, and it's a brother and sister. And the brother he did write a book, but he hasn't written anything lately. He wrote a crime novel, but since he had some medical treatments, and him and his twin sister are on the Orient Express hoping for some rest and rejuvenation, and he's hoping that he'll get back into writing again since all his treatments. And there also, of course, there's a wide cast of characters, and there's a couple of podcasters on there that they've met before that they know. And I didn't try to figure out who the murderer was. Of course, it says 5 found dead, so of course it's 5 people are murdered on the train. But I thought it was a fun modern-day spin on the murder on the Orient Express. I enjoyed the cast of characters and the twists. There were some podcast excerpts at the end. Well, that doesn't really spoil anything. And I kind of wish that there would have been some throughout the book, but maybe that might have given away too many clues as to what was going on. So I didn't try to figure out who the guilty person was, and just enjoyed the story, which I really did enjoy very much. And I think she has another book out that I haven't read, but I think I might pick up at some point because I did enjoy this one and I enjoyed the other one. And my voice is going already. All right, the next book, this was the last book I read. I finished this one on 2nd of September. This one is nonfiction. 52 Ways to Reconcile: How to Walk with Indigenous Peoples on a Path to Healing by David A. Robertson. And this book has a textured cover. I don't know if when I was young, if they're like textbooks or like some books are made like this textured cover. It just reminds me of something from the past. I really do like the cover. I think it says in here too, the cover design was by Matthew Flute. And interior art is by Graphis Scriber from stockadobe.com, which I guess is that. And that's the front. Also the back. There's the 52 things for the 52 weeks. And on the inside, of course, he is a Canadian author. And it says here, as much as we want to walk the path of reconciliation, we often aren't quite sure what to do, and we're afraid of making mistakes. 52 Ways to Reconcile offers concrete and practical answers in the form of a friendly and accessible guide. The idea of this book is simple: 52 bite-sized chapters, each focused on one attainable act of reconciliation. One act per week for an entire year. These include everything from writing a personal land acknowledgement and buying from Indigenous businesses, to learning about the 60 Scoop and supporting survivors of the residential school system. With warmth and humor, award-winning public speaker and author David A. Robertson shares stories and tips from his own learning experience under gentle guidance. These 52 steps will help readers of all ages to walk in the right direction towards a healthier relationship between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people. So I really did enjoy this book, and I certainly recommend this book. I recommend any of his books. I've read quite a few of his books, and even read one of his middle grade books and some graphic novels he had out. I read those as well. In one of the weeks here, it says to start an Indigenous book club. I don't really have friends that I read with, but I know I haven't read a lot of books by Indigenous authors lately, and I would like to read more. Of course, in week 2, it says start an Indigenous book club, and he does recommend some books. And one of the books they recommended was actually one of the books that is in my TBR Jar Veteran book picks. And I actually picked that one for September, so if you want to find out what book that is that I picked, you can check out my video, because I'll be posting that one before this one. And then you can find out what that book is I'll be reading in September. And I'm not sure if I will be able to get to all of these. I'm certainly going to try and go through them like once a week, see if there's anything I can do. I might not get to all of them, but I'm certainly going to try to get to most of them. And I'll have this book for a while, but when I'm finished this book, I'm sure I will pass it on to somebody else who I'm certain will enjoy it and find it informative and useful as a non-Indigenous person to see what they can do to reconcile what, I guess, Canada's past regarding Indigenous peoples. So that is that one. Let's see, the next book I'll go with is, I'll go with my TBR Jar Veteran pick for August, and that was Edgar Allan Poe's Great Tales and Poems. I did enjoy this book. It's, Edgar Allan Poe it's the shorter stories and the poems. And I know when I read this book, I think I recognized some of the stories that I had read before. And certainly the poems, the one Annabel Lee, of course, and the bells, and let's see, and of course the Raven. And the Raven, I don't know if you can see this. This is a blanket, and it has the poem, The Raven, on it. And I think that's probably my favorite poem that he's written. And the other TBR Jar Veteran pick, I've decided to officially DNF this one. I'm just not interested in reading it. That was Charlotte Bronte's The Green Dwarf, another early fiction. Certainly I've enjoyed her other books, and I have a book, another one of hers to read. But I'm just not interested in this one anymore, and so I think I'm just going to DNF that one. The next book, it's also the Buzzword Reading Challenge. The word for August was with, and this one, The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers. And that one with on it. And also on the cover challenge was transportation. So certainly there are spaceships. I would consider those transportation. And also on the cover of Five Found Dead, there's like a picture of a person inside the train. So it's that one. And this one is the last book in the Wayfarer series. I really enjoyed this one. It was like there's people stuck on this planet. And the planet Gora, with no water, no air, no native life, the planet Gora is unremarkable. The only thing it has going for it is a chance proximity to more popular worlds, making it a decent stopover for ships traveling between the wormholes that keep the galactic commons connected. If deep space is a highway, Gora is just your average truck stop. And this one is, there's some different cast of characters that end up getting grounded there. Of course, they're from different planets, so they're different species. So I think it was a lot like, just how the different species interacted with each other, and maybe some prejudices they had towards other species, which, I mean, it I think was a really good way to explain how people are prejudiced to people of other races. And I really enjoyed the story, and how the people got along and, overcame their prejudices and whatnot. I enjoyed that series, and I'm not sure if there's any more books coming out in that series, but I kind of hope there is. I'm enjoying the different characters. My throat is really dry today. All right, the next book I read, this was a reread, The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. And recently, here in Canada, in Alberta, a school district was trying to get some books banned, and this was, of course, came up as one of them, but they put a pause on what they were trying to do. So, and I think even Margaret Atwood tweeted about it. Of course, this is a banned book in some places, but I would recommend it to anyone. It's dystopian, of course, a dystopian world. And I really enjoyed rereading this one. And I watched the first season of The Handmaid's Tale, finally finished watching the first season so that I could reread this book. And I thought what they did was a great adaptation. So I'm going to continue on with the rest of the series until the next season comes out. Well, I'm not sure when that will be, so I will be continuing on with the series anyway. Let's see, the next book is Monday Morning by Kathy Reichs. I'm not sure what book. I keep forgetting which book this is in the series. And this one, she has come from Charlotte to Montreal during the bleak days of December to testify as an expert witness. And there's bones found in the pizza parlor. So she has to go and check out those and see if they're old bones or recent bones or whatnot. And of course, I did enjoy reading this book. I've been enjoying reading the series. That's that one. And the last book I read was Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake. This one is a fantasy. I did enjoy this one more than I thought I would. And this one is about the Wren family. Their father, Thayer Wren, was the CEO of Wayfarer Magitech. And I think they were all they were kind of estranged from their father, didn't really get along. And he passes away. So, of course, they're all wondering who will be the heir of Wayfarer Magitech. And but the three of them, I didn't even realize, I completely forgot before I started reading it, that the three children, Meredith, Arthur, and Haley, are telepathically and electrokinetically gifted. so that puts a fancy spin on the story. And of course, it's a drama with they going through finding out their backstory and whatnot. I did really enjoy the narrator of this, and the chapter headings, and they also had this cool black and white sketches in between the chapters, which I thought were really nice. And I think it says in here, ooh, the art. I always forget about artwork for books, and so, I mean, a lot of the covers for a lot of these books are beautiful covers. It says here the interior illustrations are by Paula Toriaccio, and I think back here it said the jacket art was by Tristan Elwell, and the jacket design by Jamie Stafford Hill. So that's that, and I did really enjoy this book. I don't think I haven't read any of her books before. I don't think that was my first, but I did really enjoy it. And I forgot to mention the narrators. Gifted and talented. The narrator was Eunice Wong. I really liked her narration. Monday Morning, Michelle Park was narrator. Handmaid's Tale I listened to the narration by Elizabeth Moss, who of course is one of the lead characters in the Handmaid's Tale series. The Galaxy and the Ground Within, Patricia Rodriguez was the narrator, and 52 Ways to Reconcile, nonfiction, was narrated by the author, David A. Robertson. And also a couple other things I watched in August. I actually binge watched the first seasons 1 and 2 of A Discovery of Witches, because once I started watching them, I realized that the AMC Plus, they were leaving the first 2 seasons. I guess the licensing was up for those 2 seasons, so they were leaving AMC Plus here in Canada. So I wanted to watch them all and get the first 2 seasons. It doesn't say anything about the 3rd season, so I'll have time to read the 3rd book and then watch the 3rd season after. And I did love the adaptation, the 2 seasons that I watched of Discovery of Witches. Last time with books, the first book, A Discovery of Witches, I haven't read in almost 3 years. But I was watching, I did remember a lot of parts as it was happening, so I kind of knew. Of course, I knew what was going to happen in the series, but lots of times there are a lot of things I forgot. But I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons, and I'm looking forward to seeing the 3rd season after I read the last book. And I also watched the movie adaptation of The Thursday Murder Club. It came out last week on Netflix here in Canada. I think it's like a Netflix. I think it's in the UK and in the US as well, and I'm sure with other countries. And I really enjoyed the adaptation. I think I've seen a couple people comment on TikTok that they didn't really like the casting of some of the characters. I think Bogdan, that's how you pronounce his name. I think the person who they had playing him, I think I kind of expected him to be bigger, maybe. And but as for the rest of the characters, I thought they were fine. The casting, I liked Ellen Mirren, of course, as her character. So I really did enjoy that movie. So let me know. So if you've seen the adaptations, of Discovery of Witches or Handmaid's Tale or Thursday Murder Club, comment below and tell me what you thought of it, good or bad. And also, if you've read any of these books, you can comment down below and let me know. And I'll see you again soon, hopefully with another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.